Hello, good evening, everyone. So, here we are once again at your service with another interesting video. I'm sure you guys are probably aware of my name, but I will still formally introduce myself like I do in every video. My name is Amir Poonawala. I'm a licensed immigration advisor for New Zealand and migration agent for Australia here at G.E.M.S International. Our office is based in Auckland City of New Zealand. Please click the subscribe button to subscribe to our channel, push the bell icon, and do like this video at the end of this session if you like our video. Thank you. Please read our legal disclaimer provided in the comment section before watching this video. Thank you. Now, this is another very common question that we are required to answer so often that I decided to make a video so that we don't have to repeat the same information over and over again to so many people, I look at my phone, the messages that I receive in WhatsApp, and most of them are from people who are wanting to find a job in New Zealand, or they are wanting to find out which are the high demand jobs in New Zealand and Australia. So that's the reason it prompted me to prepare this video, and I said let's have a quick overview of what type of jobs are in demand here in New Zealand and the surrounding factors. So let's look at that. On the very onset, I would like to make it clear that New Zealand is just like many other developed nations like Australia, Canada, UK, and various other West European countries. So the jobs available here are pretty much the same as those available in various developed nations or even developing nations for that matter. But you must remember that from an immigration perspective, there are certain skills that New Zealand is in need of at a given point of time or during the prevailing time, and this data is collated by the respective statistical departments that conduct their research and find out which skills are needed in New Zealand and whether there is enough manpower available locally to fill those skill gaps, or if there is a shortage of a particular skills. And all this collated data is then developed into a list of occupations in which this is an exhaustive list. I mean, we are not going to go into the details of that list, but this is an exhaustive list, and there are different lists depending on the different regions and whether there is a set of general skills that are required, whether there are some skills in the shortage list, whether there are some skills particular to a given region. So there are different lists, and there are hundreds and hundreds of occupations listed in this list. So we will not go into the details, like I said earlier, of this list, but we will touch the subject so that you get an idea of what sort of jobs are in demand, and based on this demand, you could probably then work out and decide in which field you would like to study and make your career. But remember, not just based on this discussion, you should decide what field to study, but more importantly, you figure out uh, what you are passionate about doing. I mean, if you are passionate about becoming a photographer, or if you are passionate about becoming a filmmaker, or if you are passionate about agriculture, there is no point in jumping into IT. If you understand where I come from, if you are passionate about something, my sincere advice to you is that you pursue the field in which you are passionate about. It could be robotics, or it could be becoming a pilot, or it could be as simple as becoming an accountant. So please bear that in mind, that you must, and this is a suggestion from my side, that you must pursue the field in which you are passionate about. When you are passionate about doing something, you will not feel the pressure of either studying, or when you actually become what you want to become, you will not feel the work pressure, because you are passionate about doing something, and the work, the time will just flow, instead of getting dragged, if you understand and if you have experienced what I'm trying to say. So please bear that in mind. Thank you. Okay, now you must also remember that when I say an industry, there could be few different hundreds of occupations in a given industry, and it is not necessary that all those occupations are in demand or are required by New Zealand. But there could be a few chunk of occupations for which New Zealand could be facing a local shortage of skilled manpower, and this is where the New Zealand employers then start advertising for those roles on various online portals and various local and international media to source suitable candidates who can fill those positions and gaps in the industry. So, yeah. Um, and then, yes, such jobs are available for overseas migrants to apply for, and if they are lucky enough, they could be selected for an interview, and if all goes well, then their work visas could get processed and they could start working here in New Zealand. So let us look at basically what are the primary industries in New Zealand. And the first one being agriculture. Agriculture is one of the main industries here in New Zealand, and under agriculture comes the dairy industry, then comes the meat processing industry, and the wool processing industry. And yes, there are lots of sheep here in New Zealand, and you will find them grazing everywhere once you hit the countryside, which is very beautiful. Okay, so let's come to the topic. So all these industries have a very high export potential, and due to this, many skilled workers are required to run such industries, and the demand for occupations which fall under this industry are on a high demand on an ongoing basis, or there could be a seasonal demand in some instances when it comes to the fruit growing industry, which also again falls under the agriculture sector. Right. Secondly, the second primary industry in New Zealand is the forestry industry, where again there is a bunch of occupations that are in demand. The next one is the horticulture industry, under which comes the viticulture industry, and in a layman's language, if I had to explain you, it means the wine producing industry. Um, I'm sure you must be aware that New Zealand wines are world famous and are probably exported to every corner of the world. Yes, New Zealanders love wine, and it is a very common day-to-day product here in New Zealand as well as in many parts of the world, and it has a very high potential for export and is being very actively being exported to many parts of the world. So yes, horticulture and viticulture are very fast growing, and there is an ongoing demand and shortage of skilled workers in this industry. So please bear that in mind. Coming to the next is the seafood industry, and I am sure you can very well imagine what all different types of occupations that will fall under this category. Right. Now, apart from the primary industries, there are also many other industries, and let us look at them one by one. And where the demand for skilled professionals is quite high, like for example, the construction industry. I mean, almost all sorts of occupations like civil engineers, laborers, quantity surveyors, project managers, mason, welder, just to name a few. I mean, all these occupations are in demand on an ongoing basis. Then comes another high growth industry of health and medical professionals. And all the different types of skilled professionals required to run this industry are in high demand, like doctors, nurses, surgeons, aged care workers, and so on and so forth. Then coming to the next industry is the IT industry, and the IT industry in New Zealand is also quite booming, and there is an ongoing shortage of software engineers, system administrators, developers, hardware engineers, and the list goes on. Any new project, um, any new project will require many such skilled professionals. So coming to the next industry, or the bunch of occupations which are always in high demand in New Zealand, are the trades persons. When I say trades persons, uh, it means the people who are electricians, plumbers, carpenters, painters, technicians, car mechanics, panel beaters, just to name a few. And these are always in demand, and I believe in some regions there could be a ongoing shortage as well. So, and then yes, coming to the next industry is the tourism industry, and trust me, there are countless occupations that are in demand in this sector, including the ones that are required in hotels, motels, serviced apartments, food and beverage, restaurant, and yes, different types of cooks and chef from various parts of the world are in high demand in New Zealand. As you can imagine, that New Zealand has restaurants from every imaginable cuisine that is available in the world, right from Indian cuisine to European to Mexican. You will find heaps of restaurants around, and it is quite obvious you will need cooks from those different regions who are able to prepare delicious food for New Zealanders and people who visit New Zealand. So yeah, that is another list of occupations there in demand. And yes, I wanted to share something with you which will most likely surprise you, is that uh, a simple profession of a baker, yeah, the people who work in bakeries is in shortage here. Yes, bakers, yeah. So the list goes on, you know. Yeah, so okay, so I really don't want to drag this video too long, but if after watching this video, if it rings your bells in your head, and if you feel that you have those skills, or you want to acquire those skills through higher studies in New Zealand, then I'm sure you probably by now know who to contact and how to get in touch with us. Right. So thank you once again for taking the time to watch our video. I hope you have found this video useful and interesting. And if you have liked this video, please press the like button and subscribe to our channel. And if you need any further information or clarification, you can get in touch with us. Our contact details are provided in the comment section of this video. And please remember that when you call us, you please remember that you need to book a consultation with us to discuss regarding your matter, and not simply call us anytime and start with your requirement. You are required to book a consultation at a given time and date, and at that time we will discuss your plans with regards to higher studies, or if you want to work here, if you want to find employment, whatever it may be, surrounding all this immigration, jobs, work visas. You must book a consultation with us to discuss regarding your matter. Thank you. We will be back with another interesting video soon on various other topics related to immigration and how to make different types of visa applications. And if we come across any breaking news, we will share that with you. So please do subscribe to our channel, push the bell icon so you can get regular updates. Until then, I hope you are safe wherever you are in the world, and goodbye. See you next time. Thank you.